Long-held political rules in the United States, it goes back even longer than that. If your enemy is destroying themselves, get out of the way. But apparently, Republican Senator Rick Scott did not get that memo. He's now allowing Democrats to truthfully say that Republicans, at least Rick Scott, wants to raise your taxes. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell held off on releasing a Senate GOP agenda heading into the midterms, aiming to make the upcoming election a referendum on what the Democrats have done with their 2 years in power. Ukraine will play a big part in that. Instead of following McConnell's plan, Senator Scott released a conservative blueprint of his own, 11 points. Finishing the border wall and naming after President Trump, having students say the Pledge of Allegiance in public schools, declaring there are only two genders, and finally, and this is the one that gets all the attention, quote, all Americans should pay some income tax, even if it's just a small amount. Well, roughly 50% of Americans, net, do not pay federal income taxes. So basically, Senator Scott is pro raising taxes on 50% of America. The plan is drawing comparisons to Mitt Romney's infamous 47% blunder during the 2012 election. We invited Senator Scott on to defend his plan. We have not heard back. The invitation is, of course, open. He was willing, however, to go on Fox News last night, where he got softball questions from Sean Hannity. Take a listen.
Did you see Chucky Schumer saying that your plan is to raise taxes on more than half of Americans? I didn't see that in your plan. Did you have that in your plan? Was it in invisible ink in the copy that I got? Because I didn't see that.
No. Chuck Schumer, who wants to raise taxes for everything, while when I was governor, I cut taxes and fees 100 times. We're the opposite. But Chuck Schumer, he is all in to take every dime you have.
So first you want to raise taxes, make somewhat of a, how we say, communications blunder, and then you, I guess, lie about it rather than saying you're sorry. Joining us now, Tara Setmayer, former GOP communications director on Capitol Hill, senior advisor for the Lincoln Project. Why not just say, hey, there was more to that than we said, here's the explanation?
Well, because there really isn't a plausible explanation given.
Well, sure there is. It was the staff did it. They messed it up. It was a typo. Let me explain, on and on and on.
Come on, Leland. You know better than that. It's Fox News. He doesn't have to explain himself that way.
That's the point.
If he went on, a real news station, maybe like your program, he would be challenged on that and have to be forced to give an explanation. But he knows that it's a softball interview. So, but the thing about this that I find fascinating, and after spending 27 years in the Republican Party, I can tell you that there's never been a time where a Republican National Senatorial Committee chairman has ever defied the Senate majority leader or minority leader, whoever the Senate leadership is. Mitch McConnell has been running the Senate for a long time. He specifically did not put out an agenda this time around because he doesn't want to give Democrats specific policy initiatives for them to attack them on. And here Rick Scott comes out and says, oh, no, this has nothing to do with my job as chairman of the NRSC, whose job it is to get senators elected, Republican senators. This is my own plan. Well, he can't separate the two. It will always be identified as the chairman of the NRSC's plan. So this is a gift for Democrats in states where there are competitive Senate races like Pennsylvania and Arizona. Now, in a statewide race, good luck trying to defend raising taxes on the middle class.
Now, you would have thought he would have learned from Mitt Romney's clip. Take a listen.
47% of the people who will vote for the president no matter what. All right, there are 47% who are with him, who are dependent upon government, who believe that they are victims, who believe that government has a responsibility to care for them.
Net, though, is it a bad idea to say that all of us should at least contribute something?
Oh, of course not. But is it bad politics? Probably.
Yeah.
Remember how
That's how we got here.
That's right. How Republicans went after Barack Obama for saying fair share. They have excoriated Democrats for years for saying that people should pay their fair share, or the top 1% should pay their fair share. This is taking it way further than that and saying that, well, everybody, even the people who are, lower to middle to lower class, well, they should pay something too. Now,
yeah. No, I get it.
That would make some sense, right?
Yeah, no, it does. And
you're not going to get away with that.
Yeah, it's why you can't have real conversations anymore. Look, I consider Sean a friend. He does something different than we do, and that that's what it is. At some level, you almost feel, though, that Sean is letting down a little bit of the Florida audience and Senator Scott's constituents to not ask a tough question. Senator Scott's letting down his constituents by not going on channels and answering real questions. They deserve to hear those. And then on the flip side, I'm trying to find a news organization, of course, other than ours, that will give both sides a hard time. CBS News, the U.S. economy has been hit with increased gas prices, inflation, and supply chain issues due to the Ukrainian crisis. So 4 or 5 hours after President Biden says, hey, there's going to be some pain for standing up for freedom, as much as he stood up for it, which isn't much, suddenly now the CBS at least says, oh, never mind. It's no longer the president's fault or his policy's fault over the past year that we have runaway inflation. It's Ukraine.
Yeah, that's not completely intellectually honest either. I mean, there are
Is it intellectually honest?
A lot of
I don't think
other
it's intellectually
factors.
honest at all. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors that contributed to why inflation is higher. The president made a mistake by saying it would be transitory and it would go away. I mean, it was inherited from some of Trump's policies, and but there's cutting off trade. Our energy for the Keystone Pipeline, making us less energy independent than we were before. Those things all contribute to why we have higher gas prices and other things like that.
It just feels like CBS is carrying the president's water a little bit.
Well, I mean, I think that, the challenge right now is that when we see we're on the brink of war in Europe, which is a really perilous time. Politics used to end at the water's edge, and you have a Republican Party that's actually out here siding with Putin and trying to say that Biden is weak and feckless, and that somehow Trump represented strength and that Putin's a genius. Like, this is not. I don't think this is good for democracy. America has to show a united front because we're standing up for freedom in Europe.
You got to be able to criticize the president of the United States on foreign policy issues. It's gone back as long as time is. And frankly, I mean, Brett Bruin's a Democrat. He worked for President Obama, and he laid out a very powerful case why President Biden is being very weak here and why Vladimir Putin is steamrolling over him.
Well, I think there's fair debate about how, quote, weak Biden is being. There can be a difference of opinion that he's not doing exactly what other people would like. But what they're doing now is stronger than what the Obama administration did in 2014. I think that they learned those lessons. They learned those lessons, and it's important to acknowledge that they learned those lessons.
I was there in 2014, and it's very clear.
As was I, and I was very critical of them for it.
Yeah, no, I was in Ukraine in 2014. It's very clear the Obama administration hasn't, or the Biden administration hasn't learned the lessons. Tara, it's good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.